Thank you to the Cadillac Community Television for this public service opportunity to discuss the brand new up-and-coming City of Cadillac citywide residential recycling program. Our city will be starting a new chapter, a new era in the provision of public services with the commencement of this new exciting program, and a very special thanks to the Cadillac City Council for their appreciation of our natural environment and for their support in the development of this new residential recycling program. I have here today Jeff Dietland, our Utilities Director for the City of Cadillac. I am, by the way, Marcus Pecha, the City Manager for the City of Cadillac, and also Rita Meach, owner of ms.green L.L.C. in the City of Cadillac, who is the brand new vendor providing the new residential recycling program for the city. This is a real good opportunity, Jeff and Rita, for us to explain what this new program is going to entail, what recycling is, how people can learn how to recycle, some fun facts, if you will, about different types of recyclable materials, when the program is going to start, and so on. Before we really dive into it, just so folks know, the city currently offers a citywide residential refuse program that is coordinated and managed through the Utilities Department. And Jeff, if you could maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself first. You know, how long have you worked for the city, and what do your operations entail, and then we can talk more about the recycling piece.
Okay. Of course, Marcus. My name, as Marcus said, is Jeff Dietland. I've worked for the city for 16 years, excuse me. Seems like 17. And I came to the city as the wastewater superintendent for the wastewater treatment plant. In 2008, I was promoted to utilities director. I now manage both the water, the wastewater, the laboratory, underground storm pipe infrastructure, and lift stations for the city. And recently I've been added the refuse part of the city's collection, and now recycling is going to be added.
Super. How many staff, by the way, do you have off the top of your head that help you manage all of this? Because it's quite a lot of work.
In our department, we have 20 staff people.
Mm-hmm.
We have 7 in the water department, 7 in the wastewater, 2 in the laboratory, and then the rest is administration staff down at City Hall.
And again, we are here to talk about the new residential citywide recycling program. There will be information about how to get a hold of ms.green L.L.C. if there are questions, which is a different way of getting hold of the city if there are questions regarding the refuse program. But before we make that switch, Jeff, could you explain how people can get information about the refuse program, only if there's information or questions that
Well,
is needed
for the
about
refuse program, you just contact City Hall at 775-0181. Extension 123 will bring you to the utilities department, and a majority, probably 95% of the consumers' questions can be answered right then and there. If we do not have the answer, we'll get the answer to you and call you back. If you leave a number, we'll call you back with that information. But most of our residents just call us, and we can, on the phone, answer any refuse questions that they have.
Thank you very much. Rita, now as we're jumping into literally a brand new era for the city of Cadillac, first of all, congratulations for being the selected vendor of choice and providing the service. It's terrific. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been a recycler? How long have you been in business? And what is recycling?
Well, we started 6 years ago. A friend actually said she felt guilty because she didn't recycle, but she didn't have time to recycle. And so I said, well, I'd take her recycling. And then and because we had always recycled for years, and that I would stop by and pick it up. And then it dawned on me, well, maybe somebody else wants this service. So that's how it started. And people did. People really liked the service. They do want to recycle. So it's both good, not only for environment, but also economically. All the materials stay in Michigan and go to Michigan businesses.
Okay. So what does it really mean to you to recycle? Is it something special to your heart, and that you've taken? It sounds like you've taken that passion and have turned it into a business model.
We do really believe in it. I suppose it started back when the whole environmental movement started back in the 70s. It's mostly our generation, my generation, that it got away from recycling. I mean, our parents, they never threw stuff out. Of course, there wasn't the amount of packaging either. I mean, we've developed more and more packaging in my generation also. I mean, I can remember my mother, she just could not bear to throw out a frozen food aluminum plate, or, I mean, they recognize the value that it isn't really waste. They're commodities, and they can be reused. Aluminum has an infinite life. Basically, if you recycle your aluminum, it's back on the shelves in 3 weeks. I mean, so
Wow.
It's a quick turnaround. Steel, 75% of the steel cans, 75% of steel in this country is recycled, and there isn't any steel that you have that isn't got recycled steel in it. I mean,
Is some of
I mean, it's been, in other words, it's not a new phenomenon. It honestly was my generation that got away from recycling. Our parents recycled. Certainly recycling during the war. I mean, every city had a recycling. The government ran a recycling center.
Sure.
So it's kind of, it's actually an old.
And we're definitely renewing it here in Cadillac, that's
Yeah.
for sure, with this new citywide program. Your business is obviously located in Cadillac.
Leeson Avenue.
Leeson Avenue. I presume that you have customers that are outside of the city as well?
Yes, we have customers in the county and the city.
And do you provide opportunities for commercial entities to also recycle, or is your business primarily just residential?
No, we have a lot of businesses, and like I say, not only is it economically viable for the cities, for the businesses that are buying these recycled materials, it's cheaper for them to use the recycled materials in their products than go out and refine new metals and trees and oil. So, but it's also economically viable for a lot of our businesses in town. Not only do we pick up from a lot of businesses, but they also bring it to us on Leeson. Cardboard is a huge volume in most businesses, so they would pay a lot more in waste if they weren't recycling that cardboard, and they realize that, and so yes, we have a lot of commercial customers.
And so I think just for clarification, while the program that we're going to be implementing in the short term here through the city of Cadillac is for residential only, if a business, whether they're in Cadillac or not, wishes to recycle, they could certainly still contact your company and make arrangements accordingly to do so?
Yes, they could.
Okay. Do you know, and this might be a tough question, but approximately how much waste is being diverted from our landfills or landfill from people recycling, and if there's a way that you can localize that number, that'd really be great.
Well, I did call Padnos this morning, and
Padnos in Cadillac?
Padnos Iron and Metal, and they're a distributor. They take all, when we bale the materials, they take it and they ship it to the various places it goes in Michigan. And they told me that so far this year they've shipped for the year is 3,766,928 cubic yards of materials, just basically paper and plastic, not metals, just paper and plastics. That's another huge amount, obviously. But so basically, that divided by 8 is 471,000 cubic yards a month approximately. So it's a large amount that's being shipped out of our city.
And presumably, once this program goes into effect, that number is just going to go up. And I think it's important for folks to understand, obviously, that while it's a citywide program, you're not required to recycle. If you and your household wish not to, you certainly don't have to. You're still going to be provided with a bin accordingly, so that if you do wish to recycle, you can. But I think certainly that number is going to go up over time, and it'd be interesting to be able to track that, to show, here's where it was before inception of the program, and perhaps a year or maybe
Right.
2 years into the program, after all the bugs are worked out and
Yeah.
things are
And
smooth sailing,
we'll
we
be able to do that
can
because Pat knows
know what
who's
it
the
is.
distributor.
Great.
Yeah. I like to tell people too, if they haven't been recycling, start small. Just put your newspapers in that, or your magazines and catalogs in your container. Start small, your cardboard boxes, things that are easy.
Well, maybe we can show in a minute, when we get down a little bit to the types of materials, we can show people some samples, some examples and samples. But you had mentioned about baling. I don't know what that is.
Okay, yeah.
And so perhaps you can explain, after I put my recyclables in the bin and they get picked up, what happens? Where do they go? How do you handle them? What's the process?
A baler, they have to be pressurized into a cube, because obviously when they're not smashed under a lot of pressure, this baler comes down on the materials and squeezes all the air out and compresses it, and so you end up with a 1,000-pound rectangle that is wired together, and it's all, they intermix and they're stuck together. I don't know, even shredded paper is made into a bale, and believe it or not, the shredded paper stays together. That's how it's shipped. You obviously can't ship it, you have to have as much weight in the truck that makes it economically viable.
So when the materials are picked up and are delivered at your facility, they then go through this sorting process? Is it a by hand
Right,
process? Is it a?
Well, yeah, they're sorted and baled,
Baled.
compressed
Gotcha.
into these 1,000-pound, approximately. Cardboard is 1,000 probably. Plastics more like 600-pound rectangles.
This is probably a question that could have a multitude of answers depending upon the size of the family or the individual involved, but how long does it typically take to maybe do some minor household recycling? Someone that perhaps isn't used to recycling, now they're going to give it a shot.
I don't really think it takes any extra time. It's just where you put the waste. If you have your waste basket or waste trash barrel, you would put that in that. Now you would have a separate container for your recyclables. So, honestly, I don't think it takes that much more time. And the things have to be clean. So obviously, if you're going to recycle your cans and milk jugs, plastic, they would have to be washed. So I guess that would take some extra time. Or rinsed out at any rate. So I guess that's where your time would come in. Like I said, if you want to just start with your easy stuff, your cardboard, paper, things you don't have to do anything with, just have a different container to put it in. I don't think you're looking at any time.
And Rita, this is the container that will be provided to all the households?
Yes. It's an industry standard.
Industry standard. It looks like it's something certainly that if folks wanted to keep it indoors for easier access, it's possible.
Yes.
I do know that if folks want a lid on the container itself, 231-942-9444, and a lid will be provided, which, by the way, Rita and Jeff, I believe that is the number. In fact, if there are any questions about this program, this is where you call, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha. If there are any billing questions, you would still contact the city, because the city's utilities department is still going to be doing all of the billing for the program. And I know that
Correct.
we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute as well. So we talked about what happens to the recyclables once they're picked up, a little bit about your process, how they have to get sorted, then they get baled, and then they move on from there. You mentioned some handling and preparation tips of the materials themselves, how they basically need to be rinsed off of food debris or cleaned off before put in the bin. I presume if they're contaminated, if you will, with debris, it makes it difficult for the materials to be recycled.
Right, food is a contaminant, and oil too, so pizza boxes, if they're too, they haven't used a liner, and the bottom is too oily, that needs to be ripped off the bottom. You can recycle the top, but oil is a contaminant for cardboard also.
So presumably you receive some contaminated materials even currently before the implementation of this program starts. But what do you do with that? What happens if you have materials that are contaminated?
My customers know what can,
Yeah.
they don't put out, we won't be able to say your recyclables.
So some stuff could go
if
back to the landfill if that
Well,
should happen?
I wouldn't be taking it. If you don't wash your stuff, it'll stay in the bin, and you'll just have to put it in your waste the following week.
Okay.
It's just, it just can't be recycled.
Okay. So if it's noticed then at the curb before it's even picked up, that there's...
We'll just put it in the waste container,
okay.
the refuse container.
Okay.
My customers, that really hasn't been an issue. No one gives us, the new brochure will have inside the, how to prepare the materials. And it isn't difficult, but food is a contaminant, and so you just need to rinse everything out.
That's great, and just so folks can see, it might be somewhat difficult, but this is a new brochure that Ms. Green and the city has put together. It does talk about, on the inside, the various types of materials, paper, metals, and plastics that are accepted, and they're in the forms that they're accepted in. It also provides a telephone number and email address for Ms. Green Recycling as to how to get a hold of people if you have any questions. But most importantly, it talks on the back, it provides a schedule and talks to when your recyclable materials will be picked up. We may not have mentioned, but this is a bi-weekly program. The recyclable materials will be picked up on the same day as your normal refuse collection day, and you will have them picked up twice a month essentially. So it's important for people to know. That brochure is going to be stuffed into the upcoming monthly utility bills that folks will receive regularly. Is that correct?
Yes, that will be stuffed in there.
We're also going to have copies of the brochure available, I believe, at our front counters.
Utilities and the front counter.
Utilities and the front counter. We are going to have this brochure online at the city's website, which is www.cadillac-mi.net. I'm sure we'll also have a Facebook reference to it too. So we're really hoping to try to get the word out as quick as we can about this upcoming program. That kind of segues us into a little bit more about the actual details of this program. The frequency, as I mentioned, is bi-weekly. When do we anticipate, Rita or Jeff, that bins are going to start being delivered to households?
I do believe September 23rd they're going to start delivering bins, and October 1st you can actually put out your bins that have stuff in them that's properly prepared, and they'll be picked up.
And Rita, I know that everyone's going to receive, every household, every residential household is going to receive a complimentary bin. Condominiums are not going to be a part of this. Condominiums or other like apartment complexes are not part of this program. unless they're actually receiving city refuse services. I believe there might be that one exception where there is a condo.
There is a condo that has this contract with the city for us to do their refuge collection right now.
Okay.
And they would also get the recycling.
But can you, and maybe Jeff, you can maybe explain a little bit about, about what the cost of this program is and what people might be expecting when they see their bills, because it is going to look a little bit different.
Yes, it will look a little bit different, Marcus. Recently, the City Council went out to bid for, on a 5-year cycle, to bid out refuse collection. It was time to bid it out. Every 5 years we bid it out. As a part of the refuse collection, we also put a recycling component in there. When the bids came back in, the bids were substantially lower than what previously had been bid for just refuse collection. When we bid out the refuse, we always used to bid out refuse and yard waste would be the two components that most people would get or use in the city. This time, the bids came in so much lower that we could actually add on the recycling component of it and still have the price be cheaper than what the old price was for just refuge and yard waste. So now, for a cheaper price, 49 cents cheaper actually, you're going to get recycling, refuge collection, and yard waste. So the actual price will be cheaper than what you used to pay in the city for just refuge and yard waste collection.
And when people receive their bills, Jeff, are they going to see another line item, or is this just basically buried in the bill itself?
There will be a line item that will say recycling, and it will be a $250 charge on that for the recycling.
$2.50?
$2.50 for recycling.
But
Correct.
what you're saying is even when you add up those charges,
When you add up those charges,
it's still about 49 cents less.
it's 49 cents less than what it used to be. Correct.
That's great. That is great. I know there's somewhat of a long laundry list of materials that are going to be acceptable, but before I maybe ramble off what those are, Rita, I thought maybe you could kind of show, and you've prepared, I know people can't see it yet, but you've put in some samples. And
Number 2 plastic are your colored plastics, shampoos, detergents, milk.
And again, just a quick rinse.
Yeah, just a quick rinse is fine. And then number 1 plastics are your clear. And they're water bottles, juice bottles, usually are in your clear.
Should you take the labels off if you're able?
No, you don't have to take any labels off. The 5 through 7 are things like cottage cheese, yogurt.
It's really the food residue that needs to be gone, or like the detergent residue.
Right. I mean, you can see. If you can smash, some of the things, these days, sometimes they're so hard you can't, but like a water bottle you can smash. You just save room in your cart. You can smash, your milk jug. That would be, helpful if you, trying to get more in your container. It doesn't matter to us, but, it might help you. So anything you can step on them too, and that'll do the trick. Let's see, then there's a box board. That is, there's a difference between cardboard. Cardboard has the wavy stuff in the middle. And actually, all your recycled cardboard is going over to Packaging Corporation of America in Manistee. And they make that wavy stuff in the middle from all this recycled cardboard. And then it goes to another factory, and the outer cardboard is put on top of the wavy material.
So it really, not only are you diverting it from the landfill, but it really is being turned into another product.
Yes, and I think my customers have always liked hearing, and I did give the information to the newspaper too, about where all this stuff is going, and hopefully they'll print it also, but all the cardboard goes over to Manistee, Packaging Corporation of America. All the plastics go down to Dundee, Michigan, Southern Michigan, to Clean Tech Plastics, and they're a multinational out of, that's an affiliate of a multinational plastic tech in Plymouth, Michigan. and they remake plastic containers. And all the paper goes up to Manistee, Michigan, papers, catalogs, and it's the largest paper recycler. It's called Manistee Papers in the whole Midwest. That's where all the paper in the Midwest goes to, is up to the Upper Peninsula. And they make these 5-ton rolls of paper, and they're sold to paper manufacturers around the country, and also they sell them to China. So we actually do sell some things. And because China made the drastic error of cutting every tree down.
Do some exporting.
I mean, China tried to develop their steel industry, and this is, during the time of Mao, and they cut every tree down, and they realized what an awful mistake that was. And so basically they have they import a lot of our paper. Because and they also had environmental damage. I mean, they're planting trees like crazy now because they realized what a mistake it was. So much of China's become desert because of not having the trees.
But so the preparation of the cardboard, again, you want to try to compress it and keep it as flat as you can, just to be able to put more into
the flatten the box. But if you have a large box, just flatten it and put it alongside your box, or put it underneath your container. If you have large boxes,
and Rita, that's actually a great lead into another question, which is, if people do have more recyclable materials that can fit in the bin, can they use their own bin, put it next to it?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
And that information is in your the brochure that's coming out. It has some information like that. If you need another container, or if you have some containers you want to use.
Okay.
Because larger families are going to need more space, I'm sure.
Great.
But this is called box board. Paper egg carton, your napkins, Kleenex, cereal boxes. Just flatten them. Just open both ends, flatten them, and that's box board. It doesn't have that wavy center.
But if
it's still cardboard, but it doesn't have the.
But if people don't go through with the effort of flattening the materials, they'll still be collected.
Oh yeah.
This is just a matter of space utilization for the bin.
Right.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
And then you have various papers. You've got your magazines and catalogs. You've got office paper, and you've got your junk mail. That's any other kind of paper. I would suggest, and of course newspaper. The newspaper is heavy and it's standard, but if you're worried about your papers, or if you have shredded paper, the shredded paper needs to go in a grocery bag or a paper bag and seal it shut, because I know we don't know what shredded paper is like. But put all your papers, is what I'm suggesting, in that row. Put it in a grocery bag.
And then the bag itself is recyclable.
Right, and just put it at the bottom of your tote, and put some things on top of it. And I don't think there'll be an issue.
That's a great tip.
And I forgot, it looks like I forgot to put any metal in here, but obviously your tin cans, and your aluminum cans, your drink cans, basically any kind of metal.
Wire hangers, pots and pans. Okay.
Because we have, items that they metal.
Great.
Like I say, 75% of the metal is recycled.
Yeah, you did cover a lot of the items that are actually on my list. A couple of the other things were like utensils, empty aerosol cans, Christmas lights. Does it matter if they're the new LED ones or okay? So light. What about light bulbs?
No, we're saying no to light bulbs.
No light bulbs. Okay.
It's a little, especially the fluorescents. I mean, we don't will take fluorescents back.
Okay.
And it's a little dangerous because of the mercury in fluorescents.
Okay.
So,
But your standard Christmas type lights, holiday lights, they're okay. Right.
So take them to Home Depot. They
Gotcha.
are at the front desk.
Okay.
There's a box for all fluorescents.
Yeah, you're talking about the compact fluorescent light.
Yeah, if you sell those, well, either kind, the long ones too.
Right.
I mean, if it's there's a man a company sells those, they really have to take them back because they have mercury in them.
Gotcha. Okay. Jeff and Rita, we covered how this information is already going to be available in the upcoming utility bills. We talked about It's going to be posted online, available at the city's front counter and the utility counter. I'm sure there's going to be a release to the media, and certainly there's this public service announcement program that I think people will maybe catch on TV as they're flipping through the channels. But I think certainly it's important that people understand that if they have any questions at all, again, any questions about the recycling component to the program, that they need to call Ms. Green L.L.C. directly, and that number is 231-942-9444. Likewise, if there's any questions on the bill, you were saying that would be something where you would still call the city. Jeff, could you repeat that number?
Our number is 231-775-0181, extension 123.
And the billing for this, again, is still going to be on a monthly basis.
There'll be a monthly basis.
It's not going to be separate.
Nope, a monthly basis included in your utility bill, and as I said before, you should actually see a drop in your refuse collection if you count recycling as part of what used to be refuge, and now you're separating it out. You'll actually have a lower bill, whether you separate it out or not.
Sure. And likewise, if there's any issues with the bins, again, you would contact Ms. Green directly for that. We can certainly help as best as we can, but if folks need another bin or have a question about the bin or require a lid, certainly contact Ms. Green L.L.C. at the phone number, and assistance will be provided. Are there any other questions, or I shouldn't say questions, but is there any other information that either one of you would like to offer at this time? I know there's going to be some growing pains citywide as we implement this brand new program. It's going to be new for everybody involved, both your company and our city. But I think it's an exciting new day ahead of us. But is there anything else you'd like to offer?
As you had alluded for, we have had a refuge mandated refuge collection in the city for 30-some years, and it goes quite well. I do expect that the recycling will follow suit. Typically it's the same program as the refuge. It's if you want to put stuff out, you do. If you don't, you don't. It comes on your utility bill. I think it's very easy, and I think overall it should be a very successful program.
Rita, any final thoughts at the moment here?
No, I think people will like it. It's easy. Like I say, if you haven't been recycling, just start small. Start with the things that are easy. You can just putting your cardboard out separate from your waste, just alongside your refuse. We'll take, even if you don't put the bin out, just put your cardboard out separately.
On the day of your...
On the day of your... yeah, it has to be the right week.
Yes.
That's right. It has to be on our scheduled pickup days.
And again, that is in the brochure. It'll be online. It'll be sent home in the utility bills. And we might also look at some other opportunities of communicating that. So, well, I certainly thank both of you, for your time. I think that this public service announcement that we're doing is great, and hopefully it'll help explain some of the mysteries of residential recycling and clarify in people's minds about how to move forward with the program. And I know we'll all be available as time goes on to help and to help watch this program grow and to nurture and foster it accordingly. Wanted to also again reiterate my thanks to the Cadillac City Council for their support. It is very important that we're moving this forward, and it's very important that they were very supportive of this program. It was something that the City Council has debated several times over several years. And I think it's great that they've taken this issue so seriously and is willing to look forward at the implementation of it starting basically October 1. Bins will start coming out in a couple of weeks from now, around the 23rd of September.
September 23rd.
But it's great to have the council support. And also, lastly, thank you to Cadillac Community Television for providing this opportunity as well for the public service announcement on the City of Cadillac new residential recycling program. Thank you.